Stop living. I'm scared.
Your dad's supposed to be taking care of us.
You're not here to make political statements. You're here to get an education.
Not the one who needs educating, Nan.
Space age is our age. This is our dream.
It's your dream.
Do you want to hear my story or not?
Everybody, there we go. Hi, I'm the Rove McManus one. Thanks, two people up the back. Will you please give a much better welcome to the writer and creator, Mr. David Chidlow of Last Days of the Space Age. How are you feeling? Have a seat, sit down.
Thank you. This is your living room.
Let's get comfy. This is your living room.
My living room, yes.
How do you feel right now? Because this baby it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And here we are.
A thing or two. I was just saying to Rove, I wrote the first line. This existed as a screenplay. And my wife's in there, Danielle, and she's put up with this for 20 years. This started life as a screenplay in South London in 2003.
Incredible.
So I'm, stubborn.
Are you going to cry?
Possibly, Rove. Are you going to prod?
Yeah.
It's all about my parents.
So as we mentioned, 1979 is where we sit with this. There's a lot going on. We've got Skylab is heading to Earth. We have the Miss Universe pageant. Perth is about to blow out the candles on its 150th. There's trouble at the power mill. And then there's a Deb ball.
Yeah. Yes.
Why this year in particular, and how difficult was it to fit all this in?
So the last days of the space age start with the last days of the Cold War. Because the inspiration for all this is I built a nuclear bunker with my best mate out the back of Frankston in the mid-'80s.
Wait, you really did?
Well, I actually did. Seriously.
What did you think was happening?
Well, the world was ending.
Your parents were okay with this? What's happening?
Oh, my parents were at work.
So it's a different era, young people. It was a different era.
Different, exactly. We went on screens. We had one. And so I built a nuclear bunker with Ruben, God bless him. And it was only 20 years later, I kind of went, that really wasn't about surviving a Soviet attack. It was about us building our last cubby. Because we were really slightly crap teenagers. We were like extras from Stranger Things off to the side who don't get a line. And so we built our cubby. And I realized 20 years later, what we were doing is we were sort of hiding from adulthood coming crashing in. So I thought, there's a story there, sort of a coming of age story. But I wanted to reset it. And I remembered, I'm old enough to remember Skylab. And so started doing some research and spent a couple of weeks in the library in New South Wales looking at microfiche.
Now, this is the space station that crashed to Earth in Western Australia, for those who don't know. Yeah.
So what I discovered is that there was this weird 6 or so weeks in Perth, which is already the most isolated city on the planet.
Oh, it's very exciting when 6 weird weeks happens in Perth.
Precisely.
It's
6 weird days.
We get very excited. I remember that 6 weeks.
Indeed, Donny Osmond.
Yeah.
And so what I discovered is you had Miss Universe, you had Skylab coming down, and Skylab was this space station the size of 3 or 4 buses that no one knew where it was going to land anywhere in the world. This was not Elon Musk landing something. And and it somehow managed to clip sort of the outer suburban TV aerials of the most isolated city on the planet. What are the odds? So that immediately felt like something good to explore. And then you add in Miss Universe, a Telstra strike, which is further isolating the most isolated city, which we've done into a power strike because it's more interesting than phones not ringing. and then throw in a dead ball. And all of it led to this theme, which is at the heart of a coming of age story of change. And so to have the opportunity to then open that story up from a sort of coming-of-age screenplay into this community that you see behind you and look at it through that prism of change, which is so relevant right now. We live in tumultuous times. So to be able to explore that through this is amazing.
But you've done it in such a contemporary way. Like you say, you've got families, but you're also touching on race and gender and women's rights and things like that bringing a voice to something that has a contemporary tone that's set in the past. That was a very difficult thing, but you have achieved it well. Do you feel you've done that? Feel free to say no if you don't.
No, it's pretty rough. No, well, the key thing is here, I didn't do it. It genuinely was a team, and I think one of the joys was to take this, the three families and the family at the heart of it. The Bissetts were kind of probably spoke to me and my experience in Frankston, and then opening it up, we had this writers' room, and we had writers come in. Some writers stayed, some didn't, but we had this incredible period of evolution, where we had people that looked like this wall in the room. And so everyone was bringing that to it. And I think one of the things I'm really proud about throughout this entire production is the heart and the generosity of those guys. And this notion of change and how do you approach it? How do you embrace it, with a full heart? I think spoke to all of the writers and our directors. So I'd love to claim credit. It was entirely me, but that would be a lie. We had a fantastic team of writers.
All I heard was it was all you. That's fine.
It was me. David Chidlow's Last Days of the Space Age.
What is at the heart of this, though, for everything else that's going on, is family, as Kylie mentioned before. You've got these wonderful suburban families, and that's at the heart of this. And before I ask you more about that, let's take a look at some of our families in the Last Days of the Space Age.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Mum, Dad ended up in a chip shop van by the beach.
Well, to be fair, Jono, those dimmies, they make a grown man want to cry.
All this talk.
You were meant to be studying hard.
It's your dream, not mine. I'm working hard to be a musician, like Bowie.
You okay?
Today, no. I just miss him. People here, they have no idea what it is like in our countries.
Maybe it'll get easier.
Emma, I must keep you safe.
Here we go.
You're being made redundant.
You could have walked out and crossed the line with me.
You could have told me the roof over our head was threatened.
I dreamt about this all my life.
Not only kids dreamt about being spacemen.
Those waves, they felt like life, even in the darkest times.
Get off my lawn, bastard. Sweetie, what's going on?
What happened to us?
Julia, he needs a high school certificate. Let him stay with me.
I'll stay with Mum. Scariest thing to a white fella? Black fella with an education. Is that meant to be that prick Sterling?
You're not here to make political statements. You're here to get an education.
I'm not the one who needs educating, Nan.
I'd missed my secret lover on the beach.
You're really, really good, Sandy.
Over the generations, not a lot of progress was made for us lot.
You might be biased.
Doesn't he look great?
My suit's not like anyone else's.
What time is it? Women's business? Bugger off.
So what do you think using these families is going to strike a chord the most with audiences when they get to finally see it?
Well, I think, as we were discussing, we do live in a period of change, and we live in a period, I think, of what feels often tumultuous change. And I think it can feel quite scary for a lot of people right now, in lots of different ways. And I think you look at these families and they confront that change, and in confronting it together, there's hope, there's strength, there's camaraderie, there's compassion. And that runs right through it, without spoiling things. Literally these three families, and there's kind of almost a fourth, but these three families, it's there right up to the last frame in the last shot for each of them, that unity. And I think that for me was where the hope lies and the optimism. And as a father to two young boys, Charlie and Max, out there, it was important to have that in it, but it be earned. I think people can smell fake. They're smart emotionally, and they get it. And I think what I'm really proud of with this show is that everyone, all the way through, had that at the core of it, was that actually in all these families, whether they're chosen families, traditional families, extended families, whatever you call family, there is hope, there is support, there is camaraderie. And I think that is a really beautiful and an important message right now. And that defies interesting wardrobe and wallpaper.
As good as that is.
As good as it is.
But also you've got a young voice in here as well. You've got a young cast. We're not just dealing with the parents, it's like the kids in a time of change as well. And Mackenzie and Emily are here. We've got Thomas coming out in a little bit as well. An important part of this series, I think, is the youth that you have in it as well. Was that intentional?
It was, just to make us all feel really old. It was amazing going to... There's Emily in the front row. It's like a human Tigger. And Mackenzie's like watching a young Kate Blanchett, and Thomas Weatherall is without doubt the next Bond after the next Bond. This incredible pool of young talent, and they brought so much to it, as well as Lola Bond and Aidan. But it was what was important is going back to that writer's room and developing it, and making sure everyone brought in their different experiences and their experiences as young people. And the different voices all the way through, and that followed through right through to directing. But that it was observing, and it was being true to the lives we'd led, and looking at them in a fresh way. But then undoubtedly the on-screen talent is sickeningly young, handsome, and talented.
And bloody brilliant. Round of applause. Like when you can see it all tomorrow. And people are raving about this already, because there's some people have been able to see it overseas. Reviews are coming in and they're loving it already, which has got to make you feel good.
It's incredible. We woke up this morning and the New York Times had given it an incredible review, and that was kind of a nice moment. And actually, I think there's something else that I don't want to be on a stage again and get the chance to say this, but I think there's something really important to say about this that was picked up in one of the reviews. They said this show shouldn't exist. And I think, which could be very bad. But they were saying that we live in a time now where we all know the industry's tough. We know that. And actually the safe bet is genre or superheroes or established IP. And I genuinely mean this. I think the courage Disney had in backing this, and particularly Kylie and Deb, to back something entirely new and local that is incredibly specific and authentic but universal. That's just astonishing that they did that and continue to do it at a time when it's not the safe bet. And I think that's amazing. And I think at the same time, that also applies to Princess Pictures and people like Laura and Emma, Anna DeCosa, Chris Lovell. These are people you might not know, but you should, because they're really talented. But what they did to back this early on and pursue it, after it had been sitting in my head for far too long, is kind of incredible.
Can I quickly ask about the soundtrack?
Yes.
It is amazing.
It is rather.
And as Kylie mentioned, it is able to be there's a Spotify playlist that you can grab. There's vinyl. Have you seen the...
I'm old, I want that.
Have you seen Spotify. This? Check that. I don't even know if what's in the sleeve. It doesn't matter. If you don't steal this by the end of today,
I'm going to steal it.
What was the point of making this show?
Exactly.
So that was one of the things that stood out to me, and you'll hear the needle drops in a lot of these clips as well. Yeah. It's almost the beating heartbeat of the show is the soundtrack.
Totally.
But it strikes me as something that would have been incredibly difficult to get together, because there's well-known songs in this.
And there's deep cuts as well.
Yeah.
So we worked with some fantastic people. The other thing to say is we had an amazing score by Caitlin Yeoh, which is beautiful, and she referenced Pink Floyd in her description, which to me, being a middle-aged Englishman, was manna from heaven. But the tracks we had worked through it were, you're kind of going to want to hear Bowie, and you're going to want to hear Rose Tattoo and all of that, but it was looking for the more unexpected, but then finding moments where it was meaningful to the character. So, Aidan with Bowie in the last episode, and Emily dancing her heart out in the pilot. And then we get ABBA. I had to write a letter to Benny and Bjorn asking them for a song. I mean, that's...
Was it them or the holograms that are performing at the moment?
It's probably the holograms.
Probably them, that's good.
Yeah, anyway. But the music's a huge part of it, and it's a thrill, and I've been playing the spot list already.
Well, look, I did mention the incredible young cast that we have. We've got a much closer look at them, so get ready to meet some of our younger cast in the last days of the space age.
Celia, wake up!
You've all mapped out the next 20 years of my life. You beauty. Where do all these great ideas even go?
I dreamt about this all my life.
Not only kids dreamt about being spacemen.
I'm so sorry for all of it.
You could make a mistake, like you did!
You kids think a sticker's going to change the world.
Thought I was supposed to tell the truth.
Escape the world just for a few seconds.
You still can.
There's a lot of excitement down the front. How are you feeling now? So we sort of wrap up this bit because you can't stay here forever. How are you feeling now as we...
You said I could.
As we near the point where this is about to be brought into the world?
Honestly,
much like this young cast.
I'm feeling like he with a thing, like Aidan. I'm feeling proud. I'm really proud of everyone put their heart and soul into this, and I think this is a show with a bloody big heart, and I think that is the perfect time to send it out into the world. And the fact this show is going out to the world is astonishing. So I feel really proud and just a little relieved. I'm a bit upset not staying on the couch, but there we go.
You've got drinks to have.
Excellent.
And flesh to press. That's
and a
what I was
vinyl
looking
record
for.
to steal.
And one record to steal. Should we just give it to you now?
No.
Okay, good.
No. God, seriously?
Kylie's looking at me. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And as we have mentioned, the show is available to be streamed in full tomorrow. And I'm sure that will be like Christmas morning for you. So congratulations on everything you've done so far. David Chidlow, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay there. Because one thing that we should also mention is that we have some incredible people working behind the scenes as well. I have seen the series. It is fantastic. One credit that I'm pretty sure I saw is that you have Aussie icon Rachel Ward as a director. Is that correct?
We had Wardy as a director. Rachel Ward I worked with 20 years ago, and she got to come and work with us again. And so we had Barrett Naluri, who's an amazing director, the goddess that is Rachel Ward, and Kriv Stenders, who is a walking human filmic encyclopedia. It's
quite a credit.
It's slightly disturbing.
Now, I'm very excited to mention, yes, the director from Boy Swallows Universe, Shantaram, Barrett Naluri, couldn't be with us tonight, but has sent this message.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited we can finally share Last Days of the Space Age with you all. We poured so much love into this show, and I just wish I could be there with you today to experience this thing together. It's been a big journey, and it's time for you all to share in it now. Last Days of the Space Age is really close to my heart. It's set in 1979, a time when everything felt full of possibility. Fashion, friendship, it all comes together in this story. We worked so hard to bring this world to life, and honestly, stepping on set every day was an absolute joy. It felt like we were stepping back in time, yet making something hugely relevant to today. From our amazing creator David and the writers team, to this beautiful cast and hugely talented crew, to my wonderful fellow directors, Rachel and Kriv, eminently creative producers in Princess Pictures, and our wonderfully supportive network in Disney+. They were the most talented, kind and passionate people, and every one of them brought something special to this show. I think audiences are going to fall in love with the world they've created and the characters that it portrays, just like I did. So if you love a story that makes you smile, makes you laugh, and maybe even tear up a little, you'll have to watch Last Days of the Space Age. It's about connection, finding your way, and embracing the magic of everyday moments at a time of great change. I really hope you love watching the show as much as we loved making it. Enjoy.
Thank you, Barrett. And one more time, David Chidlow, everybody. Congratulations on it. Off he goes. He's going to hit the bar. Now let's bring out the pretty people. The cast, some of the cast of Last Days of the Space Age. Please welcome in no particular order, but this is the order I will bring them out. Jesse Spencer, Radha Mitchell, Linh-Dan Pham, Inez English, and Thomas Weatherall. Hi, everybody. You may sit. How exciting.
You may be seated.
You may sit. Jesse, I'm going to start with you. How long has it been since you've been back home working in Australia?
I think wait, was that 2000? I'm not going to calculate. Carry the 2. I think 23 years.
That's incredible.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
So what was it about this script in particular that brought you home?
Well, I got it somehow I got into network TV, which just kept rolling, and so many
in the
Aussie...
States, you mean, of course, with House and Chicago Fire.
House and Chicago Fire, and I just know so many Aussie actors always want to come home and do a project, and I'd been looking for years and years and trying to squeeze it into the break. It never quite happened, and then eventually I left the show, started a family, and then this came across my desk in 2022, and I was like, I'm in. Bring me back. I want a 1979. I want to play a dad.
Is that a big part of it?
Yeah, it was. It sure was. I just started a family, and I've got a second girl on the way too, so it was kind of like looking into my future. Yeah.
What about you, Radha? Similarly, I felt like we've lost you to overseas for so long, although we have seen you in a lot of Aussie films in the last few years, which is wonderful. But to be able to play this role with Judy, what was it that made you leap into this? Because it looked like you were having a ton of fun making this.
Yeah, I mean, you could sort of see from some of the footage that it was a post-pandemic situation. There were still masks being worn. It was that kind of moment in our lives. So the invitation to come home and work on this beautiful script with a cast that seemed really amazing, that was being lined up. And I myself am very nostalgic about the 70s in Melbourne, where I grew up. So there was something about that time travel, going back to things that I'd remembered, that was just, I was kind of curious about, and I wanted to be there.
Well, yeah, was there much of it that you knew, Jesse, about this era in
1979?
Yeah.
The year I was born.
So no.
It's good, yeah.
And yes.
No idea.
Because I will say, I was 5 when this was going on. Like, this cake just got me right in the feels. There'd be a whole lot of people in this building who have no idea why this cake would make me shed a tear.
I just
and
realised
Radha looking at it like that makes me very uncomfortable.
I know, it's a little close.
But the symbol of the swan in that era, if you were growing up in Perth, was huge. But for you, like as an era, was there much of it like walking around the set and stuff? Did you feel immersed in it all?
Yeah, it's totally. I mean, it's all totally familiar. Like all that stuff. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. All the stuff was. I mean, everything's quaint and small. The cars. I had a '69 Holden HR. Was my first car.
No, it wasn't.
3 on the tree, mate.
I don't believe
3
that.
on the tree. Straight 6 engine. I crashed it into my mate's mother down like Punt Road at one point.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was all good. But it was all so familiar, do you know what I mean? And, and the costumes and all that stuff. And listen, I mean, the show's about family at the end of the day. And the era of transformation, and what these families are going through. But it was just a fun period to film. And David Chidlow wrote a fantastic script, and then Bharat, we wish he was here, and they just all were so passionate about it, and that they helped us organically find these characters and these situations, and let us play, and that's what we want to do. We want to come play. That's our job.
And Linh-Dan, this is the first time you have even been to Australia. Is that correct? Certainly for work.
Yes, it's the first time for work.
Now, how do we get you to do this? You're far too important. Working in France, you've worked on an Oscar-winning film. You just won Best Actress at the Paris International Film Festival, which will get a round of applause. See? We're not worthy.
You are very worthy.
Well, thank you very much.
Hello.
So how did you find the experience being here and working in Australia?
It was amazing. Like we said, David's script is just like out of this world, so unique. And the ensemble, is very special. You don't read such scripts that are so beautiful. And so I'm very instinctive. So, first of all, my agent was worried and said, it's in Sydney.
Agents.
4 months. What do you think? It's like, bring it on. I love it. And yeah, here I am. Nothing's too important.
But what about the character of Sandy in particular? Because of course the experience, a wonderful ensemble that you get to work with, and a great script. But what about the character in particular? Did you connect with the most?
I did connect with it because maybe it's usual in Australia, but in France, where I come from, it's very unusual to have a typically Vietnamese family. And so for me, it was important to be part of it. And it enabled me also to reconnect with my roots and to talk to some of my relatives who have actually gone through what the Bui family have gone through. And so it opened up a whole conversation, and that was very interesting. And this is what I like with my job too, is that you get to discover people's lives, snippets of life, and you steal them.
But is it nice to be able to then share those experiences through the script to an international audience who maybe wouldn't be aware of some of the experiences that the family's gone through?
And I hope that, and I think everyone will find something in this show, because you can relate to everyone in this show.
Which is why I turn to you, Inez, and go, yes, Miss USSR in the Miss Universe pageant. Now, I went on a deep dive to try to find out if your character actually existed. How much do you know about the 1979 Miss Universe pageant?
I know a little bit. I know that she didn't actually exist.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if the USSR was allowed in the pageant or what the deal was, but I definitely didn't exist. That was straight out of David's mind. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in here that I had to kind of work out why, like how this person would exist in this landscape. Yeah. And I watched all the documentaries on it was weird. It was watching the Rise of Stalin documentaries and then watching clips from 1979 beauty pageants, people going, hi. And I was like, this is the weirdest job. I'm just the duality of her. It's kind of crazy.
I did a deep dive on it too. So what I did find out is the culmination of the 1979 Miss Universe pageant, when they announced the winner, everybody storms the stage and it collapsed. Did you know that?
Someone was saying that.
David,
so
we have to
true.
reshoot.
Right. We were like, is
We
that
need
an
to reshoot
urban
and get
legend
this in.
or did that actually happen?
No, apparently it did happen. What your character goes through something far more amazing, let me point that out. But we don't actually find out the results. And I thought that was quite fascinating. While I'm sitting there trying to work out what's happening with your character.
Who won?
Well, spoilers.
Tune in tomorrow and you'll see.
So, well, let's talk about the character of Svetlana and the accent in particular. Take me through some of that, because that would have been a hoot.
Yeah, it was really fun. I worked with a dialect coach, Felicity Judd, but there was a lot of decisions about the dialect, because obviously the USSR, it's a big place. We didn't pinpoint exactly where she was from, so we had a lot of decisions to make on that, and then there was a lot of decisions to make on character in general, because Slavic women aren't known for being the most, or they're not stereotypically, don't have the most sunniest disposition, but then beauty pageant contestants do. So it was finding this middle ground on how to play her and how to bring warmth to a character that would sometimes maybe be played as more of a villainous archetype, and just trying to bring a bit of goofiness to her, which I think David obviously wrote into the script beautifully, and trying to bring that to light.
We will get back to her in a little bit when we talk fashion, because you were ruling the roost on that.
Yeah.
But Thomas, I want to get to you now, because you, my friend, were stepping into the shoes of Bill at a time when you hadn't actually done Heartbreak High at this point yet?
We had filmed Heartbreak High. Actually, on the day after I wrapped Heartbreak High, I got the audition for this show. And then on my last day of shooting on this show, season 1 of Heartbreak High went to Netflix, went to air.
So you've walked out on that last day on set just going, I'm crushing it now. Everybody's seen it. I know how good I am. Is it a weird sensation when you've got something that you've done and then meanwhile you're working on the next project and everyone hasn't had the chance to see what you can do yet?
To an extent. Back then, yeah, because I wasn't really working, so I sort of thought that was, any other job I had, it was immediate reward. You finished your shift or you made a sale or whatever it was, and suddenly you lock yourself away for 6 months at a time, 4 months, whatever it is, and then you wait another 8 months for the show to come out and, go through unemployment, and everyone questions what you're doing with your life. But
gig economy, it's a great thing.
It's a wonderful career, but
it's called between jobs.
Yeah, between jobs.
Resting. There we go. We're all learning terms tonight.
But no, I've gotten more used to it now, fortunately, and it's very surreal. Like, I mean, a job like this, it's been, 2 years since we finished shooting. So for that to now be out into the world and those sideburns and that haircut, it's,
I mean, you're rocking it. And now, what did you know of the era going into it? It's, as you can see there with the T-shirt, there's a lot of First Nations issues that do come up, despite people thinking that maybe in that era it wasn't the case. Was this a learning experience for you?
Not as much in that regard. I mean, I knew very little about 79 in general, but arguably the stuff I probably knew the most about was those kind of issues. And, my parents were always very vocal with me about that kind of stuff and, never shied away from that. So as a kid, that was always ingrained in everything I knew. But it was interesting then to kind of pinpoint specific things that happened in Perth or, what the difference between... I'm from Queensland originally, so what that would be like for a young Indigenous kid in 79 in Queensland versus Perth. Like, there are obviously nationwide issues, but then there are, issues in your cul-de-sac type thing as opposed to just your city. So, yeah, I had a bit of knowledge, but it was interesting. I mean, David Chidlow can probably teach me more about the history than half of, the textbooks made available to high school kids can. So it was great to come onto this and, have a team that cared so much about that. It wasn't just a tiny little plot point, which it often can be. So it was nice to actually... I'd have something that felt really honest and, a fair portrayal of that kind of situation.
You did a fantastic job of it. And, of course, besides just the sideburns, Jesse, you rocked a beard.
I didn't have... Oh, yeah. Well,
I didn't know you could grow a beard. I thought you were like me.
Ned Kelly,
where
look
it was
out.
just
If I let it go, it's...
grow your ear hair long and comb it over type of thing. That's all I can do. Was this like, this is like getting into character stuff, is this all part of the fun of
I
finding
hated
the
it.
role? You didn't.
It like tickles me at night and I'm just not, I'm not very good with it. I mean, it was great for the character. It worked really well. Can you grow a beard?
I can't grow a beard.
Are you patchy? Are you one of those patchy guys?
Yeah, it's like mange, and
it's it's good here, but it's not good over the other side.
Yeah, it's got like fire breaks, so it's like there's gaps here and gaps. We'll discuss this offline. It's fine. But yes, as I was mentioning before, Inez, with your character, the wardrobe in this is incredible.
So cool.
And I think you probably have the widest range of outfits of anyone.
Yeah.
How important was that to get into the character as Svetlana?
I mean, it was pretty important. I think it first kind of like set in the whole vibe of the character when I met with Nina and she brought out this like fluffy fur hat and fur coat, even though it was like being shot obviously in Australia and set in Australia. I like audibly was like, ah! And she was like, oh my God. And we're like, this is going to be so cool. And it was like from then on, it was like every fitting was just like so much fun. Like we had original 1970s ball gowns.
Wow.
This suit, I think David, you wrote that into the original pilot, which was like, because she's from Russia or the USSR, she has like a knockoff. It's like a knockoff Gucci jumpsuit, yeah, which was so fun. So I thought, I think Nina did such a good job. She just kind of like brought the character to life, yeah.
It's special. Radha, you got some great outfits as well. Did you get to take anything home? Do you get, like at the end of it all, do you get to
rock
take
a little nylon in the show, which was nice. I kind of based my character on my grandmother, and there's my cousin in the audience who might understand that, and her fashion sense. And I took off with a red vest and a little blue number that, I don't know if you've got documentation there, but...
Now, you've got the character of Judy. We were talking before about, if you're saying that you've modelled it on someone else, because she's quite an empowering role where she goes from being the boss of the household to being the boss of the
I was
power
the boss
plant.
of the household. Right.
Come now.
I was the boss.
You may have had a great beard.
The debate remains. It's something we're still trying to figure out.
But before we go talk about that, I'd like people to have a look at Judy in action.
Good evening, gentlemen. No more secrets, no more games. We are going to start to fix this tonight. I am so done with being the angel of death. Being made redundant doesn't make you a loser, Tony. Does that in your family because you're sulking about it? Does. I'm nobody's bitch, and you are no longer my boss. You're nobody's boss. What a ticket.
Everyone's feeling lost, and then you do this thing. You take control.
Well, Rocco, the way you keep such a beady eye on our street, I thought you'd know everything about me. Stay out of my house.
You're insane.
You only just noticed? Get off my lawn. And don't you come back. You pathetic little daddy's boy bastard. I might need that drink after all.
Yeah, girl.
All right.
Damn.
Judy does it.
Look, and as much as we all just want to talk about those white jocks of yours, Jessie, we'll put a pin in that for
Jealous.
now. But a very empowering role, and as we've talked about before, a great thing to have in a series where maybe that wouldn't be expected.
I think Judy reluctantly leaves the kitchen and puts the apron and takes the apron off and ends up sort of firing her husband. So that's kind of a journey for her, and it was interesting for me to inhabit that journey.
You two look like you were just having just a ball. And what I love is that just all the characters together, you get to have a lot of interplay with each other. So when you're like walking around the set and stuff, I saw on the Disney Plus Instagram feed that you, Jessie, got to do a walk around the set. Did you all get a bit of a moment to just take it all in on day one? Because it just looked like you were having a field day in the greatest playground in the world.
Day one was... I don't know if I should tell this story, but Barat got COVID on day one. So
okay, that took a turn.
So we showed up and he's not there, and he was directing us through an iPad.
Oh, what?
When me and George were doing the scene in the bar, and it was very odd. But then not as odd as COVID was, so it was sort of
and it's strangely
slightly
kind of
normal.
worked.
It was like, it totally worked.
Yeah.
We were better without him.
But you had a ball walking around the set looking like... Thomas, did you look at like a rotary phone and go, what is this thing?
I've been asked that so many times. I think...
But not as good as I do it.
No. Oh, no one does, Rove. But, look, not to throw shade at my hometown, but I'm originally from Rockhampton, Central
Here we
Queensland.
go. Yeah.
And I think... especially in the early 2000s growing up, if you picked any given house on the south side, it probably looks exactly like that set does from the 70s. So I felt pretty at home, to be honest. But no rotary phones in my life, though. But it was interesting. Like, we sort of, in that tour you're referring to, the Bissett house was sort of, we had the exterior in the cul-de-sac, but then you've got this set in the studio. Then that was the first time I've ever done a studio shoot. That was, kind of surreal and massive, big camera setups, and then to cheat the next scene, you're shooting 3 days later, walking outside into the street, and a lot of the stuff that Deb and I did for our family was on location, and we had a little house together, and I think we shot our place across 3 different houses. But stealing stuff from set, my dining table is adorned with a very heavy, blunt, like marble ashtray as the centerpiece from the Wilberforce house. So
very interesting choice.
If someone comes in, it's a good defense weapon, I think.
Sure.
But it's a beautiful candle holder right now. But
Linda, did you take anything? I would have thought that, like, the Buoy set and also the cafe. Well, it's like a little food truck, really. That had some wonderful props that I would have thought you would have been able to take with you. A nice little piece of Australiana to take home.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. The sauce bottles.
Oh, the sauce bottles. They were really cute.
The old school, a plastic tomato with a nozzle.
True. But I wanted to take everything from the set, anyway. And I think they had a sale for all the furniture that they didn't use in the end.
Oh, okay.
But, I don't live here, so I wish I could have bought everything.
And someone we should mention is of course, Iain Glen, who plays your dad in the production. And cannot be with us tonight, but has sent us this video. He had to open a tin of peaches, but he did send us this video.
Hi everyone, it's Iain here. I wish I could be there. I hope you're having a fantastic evening. I should be there. I'm Bob. I live in a caravan on that beach, right on the coast where you all are. And I'd love to have come back because I had a fantastic time filming it. A brilliant script, a great ensemble cast, fantastic Australian actors. And we had a laugh. We had lots of dinners and lots of fun times outside the filming. It was great to be a part of. And I learned to surf. I said, I can't surf. They said, we'll teach you. I said, really? And they said, yes. And they did. I'm on that board. I'm actually on that board. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Have a fantastic night. I hope people enjoy the series as much as I like being a part of it. Miss you all. Bye.
Emily, can you vouch for that? Was he actually surfing? Because you were doing the surfing too.
Yeah, we would go to lessons together, and he actually learned pretty fast.
You surfed with the guy from Game of Thrones. That's awesome. Man, I'd open with that. What was it like working with Iain? Because he's playing your dad in it, your father-in-law.
I don't think the age difference was that much, but he played a great dad and a very groovy grandpa. And, he was surfing for real. And he kind of was keeping an eye on us. We didn't want him there, but he was definitely, not him, but his character.
Nice. I can feel the audience go, wait, what?
We wanted him there, but he in the story, he kind of sees our family kind of having some issues, and he decides to just park his caravan in front of our house in the cul-de-sac and just take on the part of the patriarch. He's not necessarily welcomed, but he's a great grandpa, and he really is, a beautiful character in this story.
How was it for you, Jesse? Because obviously as the in-law, you cop it a little bit from him.
Yeah, he just gives me shit the whole time.
That's right? Can you enjoy the moment when he's just sitting there yelling at you?
Well, it's Iain Glen, giving
right.
you crap. I'm like, bring it on. Come on, Iain, more. I love it. But he plays such a good... He kind of really took Mia, played by Emily Grant, here in the front row, under her wing, and it was sort of the one, I think, for her character where she could, she had someone that she could talk to and trust. And, it was a big part of our show, these relationships and interrelationships and that kind of thing. But he did it, he's great. He did a brilliant job. He's got such a natural ease about him, and he just fit the role like a glove.
Was that a similar thing for you working with Deb Mailman? What a joy that must have been for you, Thomas.
Yeah, I think when I got the audition for this, I think the header from my agent was Deborah Mailman's grandson, and I went, who do I pay to get that type thing? She's the best, we'll be here for a long time if I carry on about her, but she's one of Australia's best actors, kind of just full stop, but she's such a lovely person. And I remember on my first day, our first day together, I, was going to my trailer to drop my things and head to costume, and she sort of cut me off and ripped my name off the trailer and popped it on her, and she went wish airing, and pretty much from that day onwards we spent every day together just about. And I grew up watching her, and that was sort of enough just to get to do one scene with her, but she's an incredibly generous actor, but just as a person, we got to spend her birthday together and go out to dinners and, sort of probably get to know each other far too well, to be honest, but no, I adore her.
Enjoy this video from Deb Mailman, who also couldn't be here, but sends her best regards.
Hi everyone, I'm Deb, and I'm really sorry I'm not there with you all, but I am sending big love. We're here. The premiere of Last Days of the Space Age. I'm so excited, and I'm excited for everyone involved. I just want to send big love to Radha, Jesse, Iain, Mackenzie, Emily, Thomas, George, Vico, Linh-Dan, Yatsik, Inez, Sharina, Bish, Anna. Some pretty amazing people in this production, and I was so thrilled to be working alongside each and every one of them. We had a ball filming this. It was so much fun. And I also want to send big love to our writer, David Chidlow. I know this was a labour of love, and I'm just so thrilled that the world finally gets to see how beautiful this story is. And, I get to play Eileen Wilberforce. That is a very cool name. But also do think that it was way too soon for me to play grandmother. I still think it's too soon for me to play grandmother, but I did have Thomas Weatherall as my grandson, so I'm okay with that. But what's not to love? I mean, it's the 70s, we're all looking fabulous, space station is about to fall down into our backyards, and the Miss Universe pageant is coming to town. It's all very exciting, and I really hope that people watching the last days of the space age love it as much as we did filming it. Enjoy.
Now, there's a very powerful scene where Deb's character has a moment of truth-telling. And if I'm not mistaken, you're in the scene as much as her character is in a radio interview. How was it for you to be in that scene with her in that moment? Because it's a very, very powerful piece that she has.
Not to divert, but just quickly, I've just seen that I ate so much food in this show.
Can we?
And I only noticed this the other day when I started. I ate like 8 steaks in one day. I ate most of that sandwich platter. So anyway.
Now, without going into too many specifics and things, what are they called again?
Coronation chicken.
Coronation
which
chicken.
I've never heard
Do we
of.
know what the recipe of coronation chicken is?
I don't have it. It's not
Curry powder.
Curry powder.
I think it's
Curry
powder.
powder.
Raisins.
Raisins.
Ew.
Raisins.
So.
Why do you hate your
Chicken.
car so much?
So to be able to
Anyway.
shoot that scene in a radio station where no food was involved was firstly a real plus. No, that was a very special scene. I mean, you know, again, working with Deb, sort of, we would rehearse that scene together. She would just kind of, you know, run lines of that monologue for me, and largely that's what it is. A brilliantly written monologue as well. And a sort of, I've been pretty fortunate in my career thus far, and there's definitely pinch yourself moments, and sitting across from her, getting to watch that in person is one of those. But I don't know. I think it's very rare that in any show, specifically something set in the 70s, that the kind of issues that this show handles with the Wilberforce family is handled kind of so adroitly and correctly. And that monologue just sort of personifies that. And, you know, I don't know. I almost don't want to talk too much about it because it's really beautiful, and Deb does amazing work in it. And I just sat there and didn't have to eat and look, you know, wonderfully at her. So I can't complain. But that's one of the things that sticks with you forever. Getting to shoot that scene.
It's a very special thing.
It's
to
very
have.
special.
Now, of course, the title Last Days of the Space Age, as much as we're talking about Skylab crashing down to Earth, it's also about the character of Tilly, your daughter, played by Mackenzie, who's in the room. Come on. Amazing job. But all about the fact that she's looking up at the stars and she's mapping the trajectory of this thing, because she wants to be an astronaut. That's her hope, to one day grow up and be an astronaut. And I want to go down the line and everyone tell me, when you were little, what did you want to grow up to be?
I think I wanted to be a fire truck.
Wait, an actual fire truck?
Yeah, not a fireman.
Not a fireman.
A fire truck.
Okay.
Or...
You can still do that, Jesse.
No, I know there's still a chance.
Don't give up,
You're
man.
telling me there's a chance? I think I wanted to be Spider-Man. I don't anymore.
That could still happen too, man. This could still happen.
Shut up.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not going anywhere. That's what I
Okay, Radha, what about you?
I want to be an actress.
Oh, that's good. Well done,
And it
you.
actually happened.
Crushed it. Linh-Dan?
I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Oh. And when did
at what age was that? 3.
Yeah.
Just quickly, we went from fire truck to pediatrician.
This is a roller coaster
Can I change
ride.
my answer?
I wanted to be a transformer. I wanted to do
Maybe
good
that
in
was
the
it.
world. I wanted to do good in the world.
You got to be a fireman, so you know.
That's close.
It's close
yeah,
enough,
first day you turn up on set and there's a fire truck, we're just like, oh.
It's like, give me those
Did
wheels.
you have a little moment?
I want to put the wheels on.
So at what point do we go from pediatrics to acting?
Oh, totally by accident. I was doing medical school, and okay, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
I was supposed to do something very, very serious and stable, and one day my dad saw a small ad saying looking for a girl to do a movie in Vietnam with Catherine Deneuve called Indochine. And I never wanted to be an actress. I really wanted to be a pediatrician. And he said, but try. And I went, and I just got it.
Oh, and that just happened to win an Oscar. Wow. Yeah, that's when you go, I think this acting thing's not bad.
No, and then I went back to school.
So you can still go to truck school. We can
I
still go to
did
truck
medical
school.
for 3 months.
Inez, what about you?
I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Yes!
I've been a history freak for a long time, but I also think I just really liked rolling around in mud as a child, and I was like, how do I monopolize off this?
Did you ever get close to digging up a dinosaur?
That was below the age of 5, and then it was acting from 5.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, then I got serious.
Fair enough. Sorry for any archaeologists in the room. Thomas, what about you?
I was a dancer growing up, so I was pretty set on wanting to be a professional dancer. But then, as a kid, I also wanted to be a rugby league player. So they didn't quite line up.
You've done all right. I think everybody's
and then it was
done all right.
acting,
You've all
yeah.
done fine. Well, look, it's out tomorrow. Everyone finally gets to see every episode as of tomorrow night for Last Days of the Space Age. Now, we've got a lot going on. We've got striking unions. We've got white people celebrating 150 years of their city. We've got the Deb Ball. We've got shit falling out of the sky with Jesse in a tux. So to sum it up in one word, each of you, what is the big takeaway that you're hoping audiences get from Last Days of the Space Age? Yeah, in one word. And don't say fire trucks.
One word. Oh. Yeah. No, I know.
Oh, do you want 2 words? You can have 2 words. All right.
A family. It's about
we'll
different families.
And you make
I'm just going to go
copies for
straight
the
with families.
Sure,
Families
sure.
fighting with each other and for themselves.
I'm going to do 2 words. I don't care. Cozy excitement.
Oh!
Can I change it 2 words?
No.
I'm changing
No.
it. I'm changing it. Suburban thrills.
Yeah.
Do we all want 2
I had to
words? You can
change it.
take the 2 words if you want. Linda?
Changes.
Oh,
Yes,
beautifully
yes.
done. Inez?
Mine would be hope, for sure.
Oh, nice. Thomas?
It's just batshit. In a great way.
In a great way. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the cast and crew in the room for Last Days of the Space Age. All episodes are available to stream tomorrow on Disney+. And we will still have photo opportunities around the room, so make sure you make the most of those. The chairs will be cleared. You can just sit, enjoy. We've got some DJ stuff happening. I believe they call that probably music. But enjoy the rest of the evening. Before you go, here's one last look at Last Days of the Space Age. Check it.
Can't stop living, even when we're scared.
Even in the darkest times.
Maybe it'll get easier.
I'm so sorry for all of it.
Judy,
Somebody died last night.
you've got to tell them the truth.
You got blood on your hands, Wayne?
A brick nearly took her head off this morning.
What is your problem?
You shouldn't have kissed him.
Your dad is supposed to be taking care of us.
I'm learning that staying silent doesn't help anyone.
For Jesus, Rocco. There's been a spate of robberies in the area lately.
And you grab the first black kid you see.
I don't need a second fucking chance.
You haven't told her yet, have you?
If you're not sick yet, you bloody owe it to us.
You're going to help me defect.
You could make a mistake. Like you did. What are you doing?
Go, 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 go.
Go
Someone needs to take control of this family.
to hell.
Someone tried to bloody kill me.
Skylab is gonna hit us.